Welcome back to Ben's Book Club. Today, we are diving into a slim, but man is it a powerful book from 1910. It kind of became the secret blueprint for a lot of the modern self-help movement. It's called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Its premise is simple, but its central claim is incredibly bold.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. This is 1910, long before we had mindset coaches and manifestation gurus on every corner. Wattles just comes out and says that building wealth isn't about luck or talent or being in the right place at the right time. Nope. He claimed it was a predictable cause and effect process just like algebra, a science that he believed anyone could master. So is there really a formula for getting rich? Well, let's break it down.
So the entire book, and I mean the entire thing, rests on this one radical idea. There is a certain way of thinking and acting that Wattles claimed leads to wealth with mathematical certainty. He argued that most people stay poor not because of this situation, but because they're unconsciously doing things in a way that literally repels wealth. His whole goal was to lay out the exact formula to turn that all around.
Now, to understand this certain way, you first have to kind of wrap your head around his foundational concept, the formless substance. Okay, I know, the language is very 1910, but the idea itself is pretty fascinating. Wattles basically proposed that everything in the universe comes from a single, intelligent, creative energy. He called it thinking stuff, and believed our thoughts actually impress upon this stuff to create our physical reality. You can kind of think of it as his early attempt to describe concepts we might now call the quantum field or even the law of attraction.
Okay, so before you take a single action, before you do anything, Wattles argues you have to perform a massive shift in your mind. And this isn't just about positive thinking. It's about changing the entire operating system of your brain from a model of competition to one of pure creation. And what's so interesting about this slide is how clearly it lays out these two worldviews. The competitive mind believes wealth is a fixed pie. For you to get a bigger slice, someone else has to get a smaller one. It's a zero-sum game, right? But the creative mind, it believes the pie is infinite. You don't take wealth from other people, you create it from that formless substance by adding value to the world. So, how do you stay in that creative state? What's the secret? For Wattles, the key is gratitude. He saw it not just as a nice emotion, but as a powerful mechanism. Gratitude, he believed, keeps your mental channel open to that creative energy, and it stops the doubt and fear from the competitive mindset from creeping back in. It's about actively aligning yourself with the forces of creation. But, and this is a huge but, this isn't just a mental exercise. Wattles is very, very clear. You can't just sit on your couch and think your way to riches. This whole mental blueprint has to be followed by a specific, practical action plan. So here's the synergy. This is the crucial point. Holding that vision in your mind impresses upon the thinking stuff, and that starts to move opportunities and resources towards you. But, and this is key, those opportunities will just pass you by unless you take action. Your action is what allows you to physically grab onto the wealth that you first created in your mind.
And this breaks down the three-part action plan beautifully. First, you hold a crystal clear vision of what you want. Second, you act with perfect efficiency right now. That means doing everything you can do today in your current job as well as you possibly can, no waiting around for the perfect opportunity. And third, and this is so important, in every single interaction, you have to give more in use value, the actual benefit, than you get back in cash value. You create wealth by making everyone you interact with wealthier in some way.
Of course, this was all written over a century ago. So the big question is, does this blueprint for wealth still hold up today? Which parts are timeless wisdom, and which parts, feel like relics from a totally different era? And when we break it down, we see this really fascinating split. The core principle of giving more in use value than you take in cash, that's the absolute foundation of any successful modern business. Over-delivering, creating immense value, that's a timeless strategy. However, the metaphysical language, all the talk of a formless substance, it can feel a little dated, even if you can see it as his attempt to describe concepts that we're still talking about today. Ultimately, the entire book can really be distilled into this single, powerful formula. It starts with a clear vision, powered by a strong purpose and an unwavering faith. You maintain your connection to that vision through gratitude, and you bring it all into reality through consistent, efficient action. According to Wattles, that right there is the unbreakable science of getting rich. So the final takeaway is this really profound shift in perspective. Instead of chasing money, the science here suggests you should focus on creating so much value that wealth is just naturally drawn to you. And that leaves us with a question to ponder. How would you apply that idea today?
How can you attract money instead of just chasing it? Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode.